Hi, welcome to CineMunn Podcast. This is your host, Vince, once again joined by Golden Delicious himself, Ty Metropolis.
Let's do this.
Wow, you finally accepted the name, haven't you?
I'm just...
I mean, it's a do or die situation, so you gotta take it, or...
whatever.
Aw, shy. Got a couple topics to go over tonight, so we're just gonna dive right in. Gonna try to make this a little bit of a shorter show, keep your attention a little more, and hopefully you have some fun and some laughs with us. Weekend box office. The big opener this last weekend was Furious 7. Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Ludacris, Tyrese, Michelle Rodriguez. I don't know the rest. Jordana Brewster.
Did you say? Yeah, you said
Tyrese. Yeah, I did. Tyrese. I said Tyrese. Yes.
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I still like The Rock in there. I still like having the title of The Rock in there.
Yeah.
I think it's nice. Was the number one over the weekend, bringing in a opening weekend of $147 million. It's right on the edge of 150, which some people had predicted, which is obviously almost no surprise. I mean, everyone kind of expected that to be the number one film of the weekend when it came out. I did. I wasn't at all surprised about the numbers that it pulled in, or even that it was number one at the box office.
I didn't think it was going to pull in that much. I knew it was going to be number one. I just didn't think it would be that
big.
When I heard about it, I was like, what?
Right? And its overall worldwide gross is upwards of $414 million. So that movie has made a profit.
Oh, yeah.
Already. I mean, if you count, obviously, the back end, having to pay the studio, having to pay the actors, having to pay the theaters that, promote and show the film, this movie has made money. This movie has made a bunch of money. I'm not one who's ever gotten into the franchise. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a car thing. I'm not a big car guy. And as they progressed, it just seemed a little more and more ridiculous to me that I couldn't grasp.
They started getting pretty... what's the word I would call? I mean, kind of like an action comical. Like, it's trying to be that serious action, but at the same time, it's just... You're going to laugh at it. Because it's kind of corny, cheesy at some parts. Still kind of upholds that, like, thug kind of mentality or whatever like that. But the Fast franchise has had this interesting kind of trend of like where it started out great, being its original like street racing, the cop and kind of get involved in that world and that life, and then it just kind of started getting very familiar with Too Fast, Too Furious. Tokyo Drift really threw a lot of people off. Fast and Furious 4. Fast and Furious 4 was the one where O'Connor, he's back to being an agent.
I think so.
And that's what it threw people off. Everybody was kind of like, how did that happen?
In Fast 5, they went to Brazil or something like that.
Fast 5, they went to Brazil.
Fast 6, I have no idea what happened in that one.
So yeah, Fast 4 was kind of like a reboot, and that's where
it became more. I think they kind of transitioned from like street racing to more heist films. Like they're like kind of like bank robbers, were like pulling jobs here and there for something. So yeah, I mean, like it's not this franchise I never really got into. I know the first film has had a lot of comparisons to Point Break. I don't know if you've ever seen Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. It's kind of the same bit, where it's a cop going undercover into this group of like criminals, kind of becoming one of them. It's Johnny Utah. You never seen Point Break?
No, I haven't seen Point Break.
It's fun.
But as you mentioned, what was it? It was with Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon.
The Departed.
Departed, yeah.
Yeah. A little bit like
that.
A little bit. Not quite to that depth or even seriousness, but yeah, I mean, it's got some of that feel to it.
Gotcha. I mean, the Fast franchise. I mean, overall, it's a fun. It's a fun film. It's not like you're really going to be dreading your money spent there. And it's one of those things I think a lot of people anticipated too, is that it was potentially going to be the last. Yeah. And I think
a lot of the promos were always like one last ride, one last job, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the obvious is the loss of Paul Walker during production of that film last year, I believe. So that was a big draw.
It sucks because and I mean, if you look at, you could say it's bad because I remember a bad when Paul Walker passed, I remember some retail stores trying to pull hey, this person just kind of passed.
This person died, so their stuff is now more valuable.
No, their stuff is more and more valuable. Let's set up a whole thing of, like,
all his films.
Films and franchise. I'm like, the hell?
Well, and that's an obvious thing that, I mean, as cynical or cold as it sounds, I would do that too. Like, I have stuff set aside of actors that I know are older, that once they pass, I intend to sell it. Because I know it goes up and down.
It's like you can't, can't, I mean, you have an autograph or something, and it's like, hey, the person's gone. It's like, yes, that's gone, but it's also kind of like you're not going to see Paul Walker's work anymore. So it's one of those things that it's like, how did his final performance look? And that was one of the things people kind of go to the theaters for. The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1,
Philip
Seymour Hoffman's final performance, and The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger's, not final performance, because he did the Magic Emporium.
His final complete performance, because he died during Imaginarium.
Yeah.
Of Dr. Parnassus.
It sucks, because after that he was going to be playing in a movie that I really wanted to see, but...
Which one was that?
Christopher Gans, who did the 2006 Silent Hill, he was going to do a movie based off the Onimusha franchise. Onimusha video game franchise distributed by Capcom.
Okay.
So that would have been interesting, but at the same time too, it's, when these actresses pass, it's how did they depict, how did they do their last performance? And that was one of the things. I mean, I don't think Paul Walker was saying like, yeah, I'm probably going to die on set, so I got to give it all. Yeah. But it's one of those things that it's also like, to me, it's also kind of like a way of paying your respects. You have your funerals, whatever, things like that, and not everybody's going to be able to attend like a star's funeral or something like that. Yeah. So it's one thing when you go see a movie, you're kind of for some people it's like paying the respect.
Paying your respect to that person. Even like when we had recently we had Leonard Nimoy pass away. A lot of people probably dusted off their old Star Trek series and kind of watched that again, or watched the old movies, or even the few episodes of Big Bang that he was, a part of or on, or even last night I watched Land of the Lost, which he actually did a voice in, a very quick little cameo as the voice in that film, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Leonard Nimoy, and it just kind of took me back. It's like, oh wow, that's really neat. So obviously Fury 7 #1 this weekend. No one's surprised. The numbers it pulled in was a little surprising, but overall, I expected it to be one of the bigger films this year. Obviously, with the push, I don't mean to sound cynical, but the push of his passing helped that film, I think, have a bigger number than it probably would have.
It would have gotten a big number. Like, to me, and whether Paul Walker passing or any actors passing, actresses passing, I would have expected the movie probably around. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay it. This is based upon past films, franchises that have kind of a similar thing going for them. I would have estimated around between 70 and 90 million. That's what I would have. Yeah. That's what I would have estimated. The fact that you were saying 147 to me, that's like somebody really likes their Furious 7 movie,
right?
Because you don't. I mean, I've done it myself. Opening weekend, probably see a movie 2 times. I think I've almost done it 3 times on opening weekend, but it's...
I don't do that as much as I used to. I think the last time I did that was when Guardians of the Galaxy came out. I went and saw it with a friend of mine.
Yeah, you saw it 3 times.
No, I saw it 2 times in one day. I went and saw it like a first show with a friend.
Yeah.
And then I hit you up and was like, hey, there's a 5 o'clock show of Guardians. And we went and saw it again. So I had to rebuy my ticket because it was in 3D.
It's when you had it on, when you got it on Blu-ray.
When I got it on Blu-ray, I watched it like 3 times in one day. Watched it 3 times in one day, so that was fun.
No, I mean, the other thing, too, is just with movies and stuff like that, too, you talk about movie sales and revenue and stuff like that. And it's still, it is kind of amazing to this day how Titanic's #2 now, right?
Yeah, #2 behind Avatar.
And I mean, the only reason those movies, and I mean, you remember Titanic, that nude scene, but it was still rated PG-13, and that's the other thing too. When you look at a movie based upon its integrity and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The argument between PG-13, rated R. This is going into a little bit of a different discussion. But yeah, it's if you're gonna be, you know, like Fast and Furious 7 or Furious 7 was rated PG-13, so it's open to.
It has a wider net to cast for an audience.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Deadpool was announced rated R.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. Now, is it a risk? No. If you know the character, you
understand why it's rated R.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of like making a Devil May Cry movie and trying to make it PG-13. Mm-hmm. Can't do that.
Well, I think even you know, if you're a parent, you're gonna however they advertise the film. I don't know how they're gonna advertise it for Deadpool. Mm-hmm. So, however they advertise it will obviously draw its audience. Its natural audience is already going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
People who are already going to see it are already going to see it, regardless of what type of promotionals you see, what type of trailers you see, what type of posters you see. Whatever they put out, you already have a locked audience that's going to go see it. Now, is it a locked, big enough audience to make it a big hit? No. Therefore, you need to draw in the rest of your general audience to that film and how you promote the film, how it's endorsed, how it's perceived. All that fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Guardians of the Galaxy. Look at a lot of Marvel films. I
think with Guardians,
they do a lot of just marketing techniques to get you kind of like, oh, I want to see more, and then it's kind of like you want to see the movie. But Marvel's done a good thing to where it's like, we show you the trailer, we show you this, we show you the TV spot, but we don't reveal too much.
Yeah,
we'll reveal enough.
We'll slowly show you little bits here.
How does the timeline work, and how does the plot thicken? How does this happen?
Yeah.
And Marvel's
been very good with their MR. And the nice thing with Guardians, what drew you in, because let's all be honest here, the majority of us had no idea what Guardians of the Galaxy was. I had a vague idea. But even still, I wasn't a big fan. And it was one that I was semi-looking forward to. I was like, okay, it's a Marvel film. It's got Chris Pratt. I like him on Parks and Rec. He's a fun guy. And so that's what drew me in. Now, what really drew me in, though, was the fact that it was a sci-fi. Mm-hmm. It was a comedy. And the soundtrack. That's what I think kind of drew a lot of people in, was that soundtrack. If obviously your parents, grew up in the 70s, you're a little older, you grew up in the 70s, you know that music from your youth, that's going to draw you in. It's a little bit of nostalgia. And they obviously played on that in the film itself with the Walkman. And that's his connection to home, that's his nostalgia to his childhood, to his life,
right,
was the music. And I think that was also obviously smart in the promotion of that film. Next little topic tonight was...
box office, number 2?
Number 2 was Home. Home. It's a little one with the little alien, little curly, cute alien with the hair. It has Jim Parsons, Rihanna.
Animated, right?
Yeah, animated. Steve Martin, I believe Jennifer Lopez as well. That came in number 2. Number 3 was shockingly Get Hard, the Will Ferrell, Kevin Hart comedy.
Number 3?
Yeah.
Holy
crap. I actually went and saw that. I laughed. I like Kevin Hart.
Oh, no. Yeah, see, there it is right there. Yeah. I like Kevin Hart. Will Ferrell, but I like Kevin Hart.
Well, I do like Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell,
Will Ferrell's
great.
Fun.
He's great as being kind of that comedy thing.
Uh-huh.
But if you like Will Ferrell, that's great.
You like Will Ferrell, yeah.
You got to look at, if you watch his films, you got to realize he's playing kind of the same character. He started playing, I think, I've started noticing it after Old School. Old School,
mm-hmm. And into
and I'm not looking for him to one up his roles. I'm looking for him to just try to portray a different character.
Well, he has. If you've seen Stranger Than Fiction, mm-hmm. where he finds out his life is a book.
Yeah,
like he's a character in a book. That's a little more dramatic.
I've seen that, but I don't think
Everything Must Go. Did you ever see that one? Everything Must Go. It was a small little indie film he did.
I didn't see that.
It's like he loses his job, his wife, his house, and so he's kind of like trying to restart himself. It's a little more of a serious film. It still had some very minor hints of Will Ferrell to it, but it was a more serious, a little more dramatic for him, and which was a nice, different step in another direction, which I think is only beneficial to him. Just the same way I think Adam Sandler is a much better dramatic actor than he is a comedic actor, based on if you watch Spanglish, if you watch Reign Over Me, if you watch Men, Women, and Children, he is a much better dramatic actor. I think he really needs to grind his teeth on those type of roles. Punch Drunk Love, another dramatic film that he did. He needs to really, I think, more focus on films like that, take those kind of scripts. And, he does his fun little comedy films that he likes to do with his friends that he does. and that's fine. I mean, you do we do stuff. When we do this, people listen to us. Some of you do, and we do this because we like to. And, it's not obviously an obligation. We're not getting paid, nothing like that. We do it because it's fun. We like to do this.
I mean, you realize it's like we have many conversations about this. Like right before this, we talked about cameos of Marvel. I mean, the only reason I know probably about 43 of them on that list is because this guy has blurted them to me like during the film or after a film. It's like, I
usually wait till after a film unless it's something important. I hate when people talk during your film, but if it's like if I know you've seen it and then we're gonna go see it again, I'm gonna point out shit left and right.
Talking during a film, I mean, don't get me wrong. When you're in a theater, that's one thing, but when you talk during a film, sometimes it adds its own. You add your own flair to it, and it makes the film even greaher.
I'll do a whole damn commentary during a movie,
dude. Any movie I've seen, you've done a freaking commentary. You actually read off the whole dialogue. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like
when we saw Jurassic Park?
Yeah. Oh, no, that was fun.
That's the best one for me. Jurassic Park is...
Shooter! Right. Oh, that was the funnest.
Well, our next topic tonight is Sinister 2. Tommy actually introduced me to Sinister. I'm not a big horror fan. I like horror movies in and of themselves. If one interests me, I'll watch it. But he had introduced me to Sinister. I believe it came out, 2008 it came out? 2010?
It had been 2012?
2012. With Ethan Hawke.
Right.
It's a very kind of small film. Came out a little smaller, a little lower budget. Yes. And it made a fairly good splash. I mean, it had a lot of good things said about it. It made its money back. I think it made a small profit, enough for it to garner a sequel, which we're now getting, I believe, this year. They just, Universal released their first little teaser of a teaser. I mean, we haven't gotten a full trailer yet. Yeah. It's like a 20-second little teaser, and it looks like it's kind of going back to maybe the origins of whatever it is. I mean,
how this kind of mythical entity became to be, and you can tell by in the teaser like their clothing and just kind of where the way the houses look or the. What's the word I'm looking for? The town looks. It's just like they've gone back to probably one of the early cases. Because if you've seen the movie Sinister, there's 5 cases on those 8mm reels that Ethan Hawke picks up, and if you watch the film, of course, you'll see how those 5 films lead up to the Ethan Hawke storyline and how those play out. And also, another thing, too, to me, Sinister, I've noticed... actually, I would say the first one I've noticed this is with The Mist in 2007 with Thomas Jane. Not all movies need a good ending to be, to be a good movie. Actually, I take that back. The Mist 2007 was not the first one that I've realized. It was The Green Mile. The Green Mile did not have a good ending.
You don't think so? I thought it did. Actually,
yeah, but it was a tragic ending.
It was a tragic ending, but the tragic ending doesn't necessarily garner, a good ending or not a good ending. Right. I think, with the way The Mist ended, I thought it was a great ending. I thought it was so dark and in a direction you never expected it to go. That's what made it great.
But yes, exactly, and I mean. I'm just thankful they haven't done a Mist 2. They're like, yeah...
You can't. You really can't go anywhere else.
No, you can't, but I'm just saying. It's like...
I mean, you could try.
So many people talk about this movie now. Let's make a second one. Well, Hollywood's notorious for doing that.
Yeah, they are.
But, no, it's one of those things that movies nowadays, they don't really need a good ending to be necessarily a good movie. Because to me, it's like... The thing about... what's a good one? Like, for instance, The Mist is just like you mentioned, the ending so dark... Because it's very dark, it impacts you even more. The message gets delivered more, and you actually think about the film even more. You're like, "What did I just watch?" And you actually play it over. Now, if you're watching a movie and you're expecting a good ending, you're kind of like, "That's it, I'm done."
Yeah.
Actually, there is a movie that came out that did have a good ending, but I said to myself, "What the hell was I watching?" And that would be Interstellar.
I liked Interstellar. No, I liked it for what it was.
For what it was, I will say it's entertaining, but I've been in so many debates about this movie and I finally found out that it's a film based off of a scientific theory that has not been proven, but there are kind of those out there that are like, hey, this movie is factual. Like, it's based on
up to a point, if you've seen Interstellar, obviously you know what we're talking about. If you haven't seen Interstellar, spoilers, feel free to turn it off for a couple minutes here. We're going to delve a little bit into that film.
Or just skip ahead.
Or skip ahead. So, 3, 2, 1. Up until he goes into the black hole, I think it's all factual. The wormhole. Up until then, it's all factual, based on true science, factual. Once he goes through the wormhole, I think that's where all theory comes in and all imagination comes in. Obviously, I'm not expecting a film to give me truth. This is a movie.
No, that's true. But my problem is, I look at the reasoning of the movie, because my thing is, if I had so many theories about this film, and the movie has debunked them all. Mm-hmm. The theory that, when he goes back through the wormhole, it can spout into any direction, correct?
Yeah.
Well, the probes they sent to this other universe or world, they all sent data back, and it was consecutive. It wasn't like, hey, data spout in this direction or this direction. The probes actually sent all their data back through one direct line of space. Yeah. Now, when the astronauts went through, they sent all their data back in one direct line of space. Mm-hmm. Back through the wormhole, back to Earth. Mm-hmm. Now, when Coop goes through, he ends up going to this
fifth
dimension.
Fifth dimension of time, space, and love.
I mean, there's the whole time paradox thing. It goes into the fifth dimension that was created by the future humans, but the future humans saved the humans of the present timeline. And it's like.
It's shit that will hurt your head.
Yes, it will hurt your head thinking about it. It's like, I don't like to do that, but
I love that. I just laid awake in bed thinking about shit like that.
Well, to me, where it should have ended was when he went back through the black hole. That's when it should have ended, or going back through the wormhole.
You mean back through again at the
end?
Like
when he goes through the wormhole. Oh wait, no.
I think that's where it should have ended.
It should have ended
after Anne Hathaway goes through, and then he goes through. That's where it should have ended.
Yeah,
and left it very ambiguous and open-ended to where you kind of wonder what happens. Just like with Inception, with the spinning top.
Right.
You just see the top spinning, and you don't know if it's a dream or not. And they close it at that to let you, the viewer, think about it. I think they should have done the same thing with Interstellar.
They should have done
That's my only issue with it. I still liked what they did with it. I mean, it was very far-fetched. It was a lot to think about. It was something that you really got to talk, and obviously you've experienced a debate about.
Oh, I've had many.
Yeah, see? So, I mean, that's not an issue to me. But I think they should have ended it with him going into the wormhole and cut it black there.
Oh, I agree.
And it would have been an awesome, open-ended, what the F ending.
It's kind of one of those things that when people say, it's like, yeah, I go to the movies to go see the entertainment. Well, there is the entertainment value, but would you,
Well, it depends on what the movie is.
Depends on what the movie is. But at the same time, I'm also one of those guys, too. It's like, I need consistency. And if you're storytelling, you need to be consistent in your storytelling, otherwise you're going to lose your audience. That's why, to me, Interstellar was kind of such a, like, where's the consistency when, the black hole and the whole time paradox thing? Because I'm like, there is no explanation for that. And like I was saying with these debates, nobody has given me an explanation. They're just like, oh, it's based on science. I'm like, please provide me evidence.
Provide me the proper science.
Where in our timeline, we have brought actual artifacts from the future and brought them back to our timeline. Yeah. Or brought them from the past and brought them back to our timeline. Yeah. And don't give me some Back to the Future bullshit.
It was a flying DeLorean, Your Honor!
So. But, no, it's one of those things, just consistency. Yeah. That's all. So, Sinister 2, and what else you got?
We're going to go through a few little, just kind of quick-fire topics, kind of like a yay or nay. Do you like it? Do you don't like it? So we got a couple of them. First one, the Russo brothers have been confirmed by Marvel Studios that they are directing the Avengers Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2. Now, again, pay attention, Part 1 and 2. So this will be a two-part film. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking they're going to kind of pull like a Harry Potter where they direct it as one giant film and then split it at a certain point in the editing.
I think the Infinity Wars, they could really put a lot of material in it.
I think they're going to put a ton of material.
They don't... Well, see, here's... Harry Potter, it did have the material. The Hunger Games did not have material. It does not. I mean,
I fell asleep during Mockingjay. I'm sorry.
No. You don't need to be sorry. Like during the Mockingjay, I almost walked out. I honestly did because I was bad. Actually, I'm watching the same crap that I watched during the first 10 minutes. I'm watching watching a bitch complain about a boy she doesn't know she likes, and actually, that was kind of what they portrayed in the first Hunger Games. And the second,
way to get out of the friend zone, Peter.
So, but no, seriously, it was like, and like, you know, you've seen it, so I can tell you, it's like, if you've seen the trailer for Mockingjay, you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Now, for part 2, they probably saved all the best for last.
Obviously you do that.
The funnest thing for the Mockingjay, too, is just the honest trailers.
Yeah, they did a good honest trailer for that.
What was it? He just blew up a building with all these people, and so it's like, actually, that was you. He shot down the jet and hit the building.
So yeah, the Russos directing Avengers. I'm all for it. They did a wonderful job with Winter Soldier, and I think they'll bring the same type of fun and seriousness, I think, to this. Obviously, it's a much bigger palette. It's a much bigger canvas to work with. Winter Soldier was, it's more of a solo film with one character. I think this is gonna expand everything from the Avengers. I think the Guardians are gonna drop in. I think we might even have a hint of the Inhumans come in. More the mystical, like Doctor Strange, I think. So I'm kind of hoping they kind of bring everything together. In case it bombs, you threw all your cards on the table and went for it. That's what I'm really hoping. That's what I'm really hoping Infinity War is.
Wouldn't it be very, like... I don't know how far out there this would be. What if Odin came?
That'd be awesome. Odin came down, too. Bring down Asgard, bring down the Nine...
I'm not saying he has to bring all of it, but Odin, he was like a war general, right? Wasn't he? So it's like, it's just kind of that thing. It's like...
Why not?
Why not? And I mean, it would just be a fun little homage to say, like, let's put, like you said, all the cards out there on the table.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of hoping that with the first part, they kind of pull the Empire Strikes Back, where, Thanos comes down, kicks everyone's ass, and all hope is lost, and then the Guardians drop in, and that's where you end the first film. And then you gotta wait a year for the second film. It's like, no! And just kind of live with it for a little bit. I think that'd be awesome.
The question is how they're going to do it. Well, we've been debating this, the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. We still need to get the last 2 stones, and then we'll have a full basis.
The Tesseract is definitely space.
The Tesseract is space. The ether from Thor the Dark World is reality.
Reality? No.
Yes, reality. The orb from Guardians is power.
Okay.
Yes, and the Loki scepter in the Avengers is the mind gem.
Mind,
yeah. So that's 4. We have 4 of the 6 Infinity Gems. We're still missing Soul and... what's the last one? I can't remember it.
Soul and...
I want to say... Time.
Yeah,
I think it's time.
Did we go over time?
No.
Well, the other thing, too, I was about to say...
Soul and time, our last 2
I was about to say time, the ether... No,
I think the ether is reality. Right. I think the ether is... I could be wrong. But I know James Gunn confirmed that the orb in Guardians of the Galaxy is the Power Stone.
Gotcha.
So,
and the thing that kind of got me, too, is, like, I actually was reading the Power Stones. It's like, there's a 7th and an 8th. But they're not going to do that.
I don't think they're going to do that.
Power Stone.
Next topic. Marvel apparently is... And this is a rumor right now that was brought out by Latino Review today. That Ernie Hudson, if you've watched Ghostbusters, you know Ernie Hudson. If you watched Oz on HBO, you know Ernie Hudson, is in talks to join Marvel Studios' Black Panther film in 2017. He's rumored to take the role of T'Chaka, who was the king, the ruler of Wakanda, and the Black Panther before T'Challa comes in and takes he's making fun of the names. He's like, if you've seen Ace Ventura, you know. So, taking over for T'Chaka as Black Panther. Now, Black Panther is not actually like, it's just one person is Black Panther. Black Panther is a title, it's a mantle. Right. That they take on as the ruler of Wakanda. They are the Black Panther. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing that if he does take the role, he will be, I think, start out as the king of Wakanda. If you read the comics, if you know the comics, there are allusions that Ulysses Klaue, who was stealing vibranium from the nation of Wakanda, gets into a scuffle with him and kills him in the comics. Obviously, Marvel does not have to adhere to their own material. The studios and the books are very separate entities. It's 2 different mediums. They can take as much as they want from those and disregard everything else if they want to. Now, the nice thing about it is we've set it up perfectly because in Age of Ultron, coming out on May 1st, we are already setting up Ulysses Klaue with Andy Serkis. Now, Serkis himself has confirmed that he has no idea if he's going to be in the Black Panther film. So,
Well, at the same time, though, that's what he's saying. But also,
that's what he's saying.
Marvel saying
it could be Marvel saying that they don't want him to say anything about it. That's fine. Right. And obviously, you're in a contract with a studio like that.
Yeah,
you do as you're told.
Yep.
So, but Ernie Hudson in a role in Black Panther. Yeah, I could see it. My only issue with it is how much of a distraction will it be? Because obviously, when I watch it, I'm gonna think, "Oh my God, it's Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters." That's gonna be my first thought in the head. That will always be unless they do something drastic with him,
like his appearance, sort of thing.
Like seeing him, like his face. I'm gonna be like, "That's the guy from Oz. That's the guy from Ghostbusters." Congo, yes, yeah. Congo's a fun film too.
Yeah, Congo's a fun.
Congo's awesome. So that's my only concern with it. Other than that, I like it. I buy it. I think he fits perfectly for it.
Yeah, he could work. And the other thing too is just if you're familiar with one of our earlier podcasts, we were talking about Al Pacino and just other kind of
bigger name actors wanting to be in these
widely
films.
recognized actors that are kind of like they want to say, "Hey, Marvel's got this thing down. Mm-hmm. We would like to actually, if possible, if you guys got a role,
we want to be in it.
We'd like to audition for it or something." And I mean, Al Pacino, I can't remember if he was like he wanted to do a villain or if he specified that.
I don't think he specified, but I know he said he would be interested in being in a Marvel film.
Yeah,
and I think that's a nice thing with that older generation of iconic and highly awarded actors that are now seeing the trend that's going on now with these films, and they want to be part of it. Robert Redford in Winter Soldier, he said he did it for his grandkids because they like the Marvel films, and they did it. Anthony Hopkins did it for his grandchildren.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas in Ant-Man coming out on July. He's an older actor now who has a body of work behind him that is respected, awards and whatnot, and people like him. He's a draw. His name is a draw. Mm-hmm. Michael Douglas on a poster will draw an audience. And to say that he, graciously took the role of Hank Pym in Ant-Man, that's going to draw a different audience to that film.
Yeah,
which I think is only beneficial to it. So I think even having someone like Ernie Hudson, who's more of a character actor that people recognize here and there, like you might not exactly remember him from specific things, but you might not recognize him directly, but you know him from this. You know him from Congo. You know him from Ghostbusters. You know him from Oz. You know him from from The Crow. He was in The Crow as well. I forgot about that in the Brandon Lee film The Crow, but he was in there as well.
But at the same time, as we go into this, did Michael Douglas, Anthony Hopkins, did they distract you from kind of the role, or did you really? I mean, I felt Anthony Hopkins was
perfect for that. Yeah, perfectly cast. Robert Redford, for a little bit, was a distraction to me because it was Robert Redford, and as a film fan, it's almost painful to say this, but I'm not the biggest fan of his. I know a lot of people are, and I respect that. He's got a great body of work. He's an award-winning actor and director, very highly acclaimed, very highly respected. He's started the Cannes Film Festival and all that good stuff. He's done nothing but good things for cinema, but I'm not his biggest fan. And that's just my personal thing.
Yeah. The most distracting for me would be Jack Nicholson and Matt Damon. If Matt Damon made his way into a Marvel film. Matt Damon. And then, yes, I did that in Interstellar when he came on screen.
Matt Damon. All right, our last little quickfire is going to be...
the Human Centipede.
Human Centipede.
3.
Human Centipede 3 has been announced with a synopsis and I believe a release date, right?
I don't know. It's for later this year, I think.
I believe so.
But, when I was reading their little statement on it, it's like, how far can the Human Centipede go? Mm-hmm. They did the first one with 3 humans, and then the second one was with 12.
I think it was 12.
And what's the third one going to be?
500 prisoners. I don't know exactly what the bid is.
So, to me, this is like a fetish movie. Just think of like 50 Shades of Grey, but really weird.
Not raunchy and like, you feel like a pervert, but more of like...
No, but it is...
You feel like you're watching a snuff film.
It is kind of... some snuff film.
So it is this is from Slash Film. They revealed the Human Centipede Part 3, final sequence, will land on video on demand and in theaters on May 22nd. That's the same weekend that Poltergeist and Tomorrowland come out. I'm sorry, but this film's going to get drowned out by those two.
It's going to get drowned.
Which is fine. I've seen the first film. It was okay. It was really weird and twisted.
Are you sure?
What?
I don't know. I would think after Tomorrowland, a lot of people would just be like, I want to see Human Centipede.
Yeah, you want to go from one extreme to another, right? And they go from fun Disney action sci-fi to 500 people with their asses tied to their mouths. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm selling this because I barely got through the first film. I've never even bothered with the second film, and I really don't give a damn about the third film. So
I just see it sitting there on Netflix, and I'm like,
pass.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then I watched Starship Troopers instead.
Then they got the South Park.
Oh, yeah, Human Sentai Pad. I actually enjoyed that one more. Yeah, that was fun. The Sentai Pad was hilarious. So, last quick little topic, one that I actually just came upon from last week was Disney is moving forward with a live-action Mulan film. In the vein of doing Maleficent, they've done Cinderella, they've done. They are doing Beauty and the Beast. A couple shows back, we announced that they are doing Dumbo, and now they have said they are going forward with a live-action version of Mulan, which I think is going to be awesome. I have a friend of mine at work, her favorite movie from Disney is Mulan, and this just sounds awesome. I think you can do a lot of fun stuff with this, as far as, like, epic battle scenes, because it is a war film, it's a family film, it's a heroine, as opposed to, like, the regular macho hero. The girl who, in some ways saved China, going upon the legend of Fa Mulan, and what she did for her people. Impersonating a male and going into the army instead of her father. Obviously...
no, go ahead.
I'm good.
Oh, no, as you brought up Disney, too, it's Dwayne Johnson actually just signed another Tooth Fairy. No, he's actually doing an animated musical with Disney called Moana.
Oh, yeah, Mona. Princess Mona.
Yes. He's actually supposed to be singing in this one.
That'd be awesome. That sounds awesome. That'd be cool. So, hey, a lot of people didn't think Johnny Depp would really be able to sing, and then we saw Sweeney Todd, and that was awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
So, that's not... Yeah, Mona, I've been hearing about Mona for a while now. It's like their first, like, I think, like, Islander,
Pacific
Islander
princess. That's right.
I don't know if it's supposed to be Hawaiian or something like
Lilo Stitch
Tahitian or Malaysian, something like that, along those lines. So that's another one I'm looking forward to as well. So as far as live action Mulan, yes, I buy it. I want to see it. I'm excited. Obviously, when you do cast a film like that, you want to have a primary ethnic cast to it that fits the roles that are for. If you do more of the vein of the Disney film, that'd be a lot of fun too. Bring Eddie Murphy back.
Put on Ash.
I'd be fine with that too. So,
what was it? Robot Chicken. The day of Pluto Nash. This day will be remembered.
This day will be remembered in history forever. So, yeah. So that's our show for the night. Thanks for joining us. This has been another CineMunn podcast. I'm your host Vince Munn. Once again with Golden Delicious himself, Ty Metropolis.
Thank you very much.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Listen to us on your way to work, while you're at the gym, while you're making dinner. We're a lot of fun. We hope you enjoyed it. We did too. We'll see you next time.